Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers Virtual College Fair. Wow, that's a mouthful. We have an awesome lineup of institutions for you to hear from this evening. And before I turn it over to them, I am gonna just cover a couple of housekeeping items. So, number one, you are going to have some questions for our panelists. So type your question in the Q&A at the bottom. You can do this at any time. You don't have to wait for a particular institution to present in order to ask the question, but do write out the institution that you're directing your question to so our panelists know how to answer appropriately. This is a webinar, so your camera and your microphone are turned off and our panelists cannot see or hear you. There is going to be more sessions coming up in a couple of weeks. So we hope that you will participate in this format again here in a couple of weeks at strivescan.com/Carolinas. And lastly, this is being recorded tonight. So everything that's happening this evening will be available for playback at that same website, strivescan.com/Carolinas. And again, don't hesitate to put questions in the Q&A at the bottom. This is a 6x6 program, which means that 6 institutions are going to present in 6 minutes. So this is really fun and a great way to learn about many schools in a short amount of time. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to them. First up, you're going to have the opportunity to hear from Florida Southern College. Whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
All right, well, thank you very much. Let me go ahead and do this, okay. All right, well, fantastic. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming today. So my name is Brian Emery. I am a senior admissions counselor with Florida Southern College, and I'm going to tell you about the school and let you know a little bit about everything that we offer. So we are located in Lakeland, Florida, which is right in between Tampa and Orlando, so pretty central within the state. Our overall student population is a little over 3,000 students. About 2,600 of that 3,000 plus is from our undergraduate students. So your typical college students, that's where the majority of our students are attending. About 60% of our students are coming from Florida, and then the other 40% come from just about every state, and also about 40 to 50 different countries from around the world. So we get a lot of students from a lot of international students from really all across the world. And we are one of the oldest private colleges in the state of Florida. We've been around since 1883, so we have been here for quite a while. Academically, we are very comprehensive. We have over 70 programs to choose from, a lot of pre-professional tracks as well. So areas, like pre-medicine, pre-law, those type of things. If you have aspirations for graduate programs. We do have some graduate programs ourselves in areas such as business, accounting, nursing, education, psychology, physical therapy, just to name a few. And overall, our programs are split among those 5 schools on campus that you can see there on the slide. We do also offer some great accelerated options where you can get your bachelor's and master's degree in 5 years total, as opposed to a more traditional 6. So a really important thing to remember about us, as I'm sure you hear from a lot of colleges and you kind of get all kinds of information, we have what we call our 3 guarantees for students coming to Florida Southern. I'll touch on each one a little bit, but basically we guarantee that you'll study abroad at little or no additional cost. So essentially every student will have the chance to get a study abroad trip where you can quite literally not have to pay anything additional for that trip. We also guarantee an internship, which we think is really important for professional development, professional insight, being able to kind of get that exposure in a particular industry with a company or a corporation or a firm or a school district, whatever it is, to really kind of get that look and see what your potential career might look like yourself. And then we also guarantee 4-year graduation. So the national average is about 5.5 years to graduate with your bachelor's degree. So we want students, expecting 4 years, getting 4 years, getting your education in an efficient time, and then heading off to a graduate program or a job. So nice and easy, again, 3 guarantees: study abroad at little or no additional cost, internship, and also 4-year graduation. All right, a little about student life and athletics. So I'll start with athletics. We are Division II with the NCAA. We are one of the top 3 most successful Division II programs in the country. So high-level collegiate athletics, whether you're looking to be an athlete yourself or whether you're just looking for that experience as part of your college life, You will definitely have that when you're here. We do also have some really awesome club sports. Equestrian esports has just blown up. Esports is massive now. Ice hockey, cheerleading, water skis, really cool, kind of non-traditional sort of sports. A lot of clubs and organizations as well with student life. So everything from academic clubs and honor societies to social clubs and Greek life, campus ministries. Again, just tons of ways to get involved. We want to make sure that when you're a student here for 4 years, it's a home away from home. You're feeling like you're a part of the community. You're making those friends and those connections while you're with us. Application process. First and foremost, it is free to apply. We do not charge anything. We think that's really important. We do also have 3 different applications. So you could use our own application that Florida Southern offers. You could use the common application or the coalition application. Again, it's totally up to you. We don't have a preference because it really just, honestly, it gives us all the same information. So we just basically say to the student, whatever is easiest for you. We are also on what's called rolling admissions. So our application usually opens in June. So basically after your junior year, before your senior year starts, and the final deadline or the priority deadline rather is March 1st. So really anytime between June and March 1st of your senior year, you can submit your application, transcripts, personal statement. We are test optional, so you could submit test scores if you want, but not required. And then a recommendation letter we like to see as well if you can. Once you submit all those items and we can basically have your file as complete, we will then start your evaluation process and get you your decision within roughly about a month, give or take. So we're usually just kind of constantly rolling along, getting applications, sending decisions out. You can also see the bottom there, some of the averages for weighted GPAs, test scores, which we super score as well. And to kind of close up a little on financial aid, when you apply, you're automatically considered for merit scholarships, which are based on GPA and or test scores, whether you submit those or not. You can see the range there, about $7,000 to $21,000 a year. Anything else you may get, whether it be from the federal government, from your FAFSA, let's see, talent-based scholarships that we have for athletics or fine arts students. We have other departmental scholarships and things like that. A lot of them are typically you're automatically considered for just based on different factors, but we do have some that have separate applications, which we will certainly, let you know about if you may qualify or want to submit an application. So yeah, I think we really want to encourage students to visit. We are offering tours, limited capacity, of course, a lot of COVID restrictions and things like that. I want to keep everybody safe. We are offering tours 4 times a day, Monday through Friday, some Saturdays as well. So definitely come and take a look and see one of the most beautiful campuses in the country. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Brian, to you and Florida Southern College. Audience, don't forget, you can put those questions in a Q&A at any point. You don't have to wait for a particular college or institution to present in order to put those questions in the chat or in the Q&A. Next up, I have the privilege of introducing to you Bridgewater College. Take it away.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. See if I can get this up with no issues. Share. Wonderful. Cool. So appreciate you guys' time. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. That one. So I'm Darren Council. I work at Bridgewater College. Appreciate you dropping by. So first things first, kind of where is Bridgewater? We're actually located in Bridgewater, Virginia, which is kind of like northeastern Virginia. From North Carolina, typically we're about 3 to 4 hours away, depending on how you drive. So as far as our student body is concerned, a couple different things. We have a student body of about 1,600. So for you guys, that means average class size really sits at about 20. So if you're used to kind of the smaller classroom size, really gives you an opportunity to be close to your professors, really work on kind of building some relationships and helping you out as far as your postgraduate relationships. We're about 45% male, 55% female. Diversity in race, that's going to be about 31% across the campus. Residency is 75%. We'll talk about that kind of just a little bit later as far as how that all ties together. But we have students from 28 states and 34 different countries, which is surprising for kind of a small school. We're also about 1/3 student athletes, so kind of a lot of people getting out and getting active across the school. Cool. So first thing is going to be academics. We basically have 4 divisions. So that's going to be communications, humanities and social sciences, natural sciences, and then we have professional studies, which is a little bit more kind of business admin. Just to give you a really quick kind of overview, we do have our top 5 majors down there in the left corner. That's going to be business admin, biology. We push through a lot of pre-med students. Health and exercise science we have a lot of. If you're interested in being an athletic trainer, that ties in psychology as well as liberal studies. And that's going to be a little bit more kind of teacher education. You'll also be able to see there we have 31 different majors available, 15 different minors, and 4 different graduate programs. That's going to be in athletic training, digital media strategies, and then we also have human resource management and psychology, a little bit more specifically mental health professions. All right, so moving forward a little bit, we do a lot of renovations across our campus. Basically, we just kind of want to make sure that we have a lot of different facilities that are available for students to use. Our newest one here across the campus is going to be the John Kinney Ford Learning Commons. Super nice building. I tell people all the time, I've never really been excited about a library, but it's a very, very nice facility. It was a $13 million project that we did all through fundraising. So super cool that we have enough people that like the school that we're able to, build something like this for our students. So we do have a lot of different academic and tech resources in here. It's basically kind of like a centralized hub for anything that you need academically while you're a student here. So that's going to be career services. Those are people who help you guys with, internships, finding job opportunities, setting up your resume, all that lovely stuff. Tech support, that's going to be everything from, if you need help making a presentation, all the way over to if your computer breaks mid-semester, we have rentals that are available for you guys to use until you get yours fixed. Tutoring, peer coaching, writing center, which is basically a place to take your papers and get them pre-graded before you turn them into a professor. We also have a media production room. Basically, that's going to be a place where you can kind of walk in, record yourself. It's going to be kind of a boxed out room. And you can see, am I doing anything weird with my hands? Am I talking super weird or doing X, Y, or Z? And basically, you can record that, send it to yourself, or just play it back to give yourself a couple of critiques. All those things I just listed are all free for you guys to use. Literally, the only time that you can't use it is when somebody else is currently using it. So plenty of opportunities for, sort of tech and the educational side. We also have a cafe in there, a great room, and an art room. Moving forward a little bit, it goes. Cool. So talking about residential life. Like I mentioned before, we have about 75% residency right now. That's mainly because of COVID. Typically, we're a fully residential school. So what that means for you is that you don't have to worry about any sort of subleasing, finding an apartment, anything like that. We guarantee if you're a student here on campus, we're going to have a place for you to stay. And that also works out a few different ways as far as food. We'll talk about that in just a second. So we have a bunch of different residential styles available for you guys. That's going to be everything from residential halls over to apartments, cottages. We have houses around the school we just own and put our students in. We have a hotel down the road we recently bought. That's now part of the housing. So kind of a nice side of things as far as options are concerned. We also have AC in every single building. That seems like it probably shouldn't be a big deal, but it's not a thing everywhere. So kind of a nice little accolade. Also, we have free laundry for you guys. You may be sitting there thinking, laundry free at my home, that's probably not a huge deal. If you happen to have, a older sibling or older friend, maybe even your parents could tell you, not having to save up the quarters for laundry, extraordinarily convenient. We also have Wi-Fi access all the way across the campus. So inside the buildings, outside the buildings, especially on nice days, you'll see kids outside just doing homework, throwing frisbee, football, whatever, just because we have internet that goes that far, which is very important these days. Flipping gears a little bit as far as our food is concerned, we do have an unlimited dining plan. So part of that is because, everybody's residential, everybody also has the same dining plan. So literally you can go to our main dining facility 9 times a day, every day for 4 years if you wanted to. I think they say, a freshman 15? It's very easily a freshman 30. So you gotta be a little careful with that sometimes. That facility is gonna be open from 7 a.m. all the way through midnight. So you have more than 12 hours to pop in and get food. Smitty's Cafe, I mentioned that's gonna be in our learning commons. And we do also have a pretty nice to-go option. Basically, they have hard sort of plastic crates they give you, really popular with a lot of our students, just so you can pop in, grab some food, and then make it over to your next class in time. Cool. Now, last couple of things, we got athletics, we got 23 NCAA teams, equestrian, cheer, and we've had 11 national champions, and actually more than 20 All-Americans over the past 10 years, myself included. All right, so last little bit you're knocking out right here, financial aid, we give a lot of scholarship money. Main thing to pay attention to in that bottom corner, we have more than $30,000. That's more than 75% of our student body is receiving. And last little bit to touch on, just to make sure we can squeeze everything in, application process, super easy. We're basically just going to need application, test scores, and transcript. If you apply test optional, just application and transcript. And that will do it for me.
Thanks so much, Darren, to you and Bridgewater College. Awesome presentation. Next up, I have the opportunity to introduce to you Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics, Myrtle Beach.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And I really appreciate you guys just being here and listening to us. And with that, I am going to share my screen too, so I can show you some cool things as well. All right. So hopefully you can all see my screen.
Looks great.
Perfect. So again, thank you so much. My name is Sally Krasovic. I am with the Myrtle Beach campus of the Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics. And what we do here is we train aviation technicians or aircraft technicians for the aviation industry. So a little bit about who we are at PIA. We have been in existence since 1929. We were founded out of the Curtiss Wright Flying Services, and that is the same Oval Wright that was first in flight. So this makes us one of the oldest aviation schools in the nation. We are celebrating over 90 years experience. So as you may imagine, we have campuses in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We are also in Youngstown, Ohio, Hagerstown, Maryland, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We have been in Myrtle Beach since 2012. We are situated, if you know the area, right at the airport, and we are literally minutes drive to 60 miles of wonderful beaches. We were also ranked by Forbes as the #1 two-year trade school. And this was not just an aviation and aerospace school, but over all trade schools in the country. And this ranking was based on a multitude of factors, such as student success, the amount of money that students can earn working in the industry, and then how quickly they could obtain jobs. So this is something we are very proud of at PIA, because it really is a true testament to our students and their successes. So let's take a little sneak peek at what it looks like to be a student at PIA. Because we are not your typical four-year college. You won't find large lecture halls at PIA. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all, it's just not who we are. We are a hands-on educational institution where students get to live out their lessons by working on actual aircraft. And this is something that our students really thrive on and enjoy. But let's take that snapshot at a day at PIA. Exactly is an aviation technician. Any work completed on an aircraft in the United States, whether it is a blimp, a helicopter, a fixed-wing aircraft, it must be signed off by an appropriately certified individual. That individual is an aviation technician. And aviation affects our lives in so many ways, ways that we don't think about, because we always think of commercial aviation. But there's many other areas like medical transport, where air ambulances are moving patients. Energy, where high power lines, where linemen are being transported by helicopter to perform maintenance sitting on an outrigger. Cargo, cargo's huge. Just think of FedEx, UPS, Amazon, and aerospace, where you get to work on vehicles in the Earth's atmosphere or in outer space. So at PIA, we are very specialized and we only offer two programs, maintenance technician and avionics technician. Avionics is working on what I call the brains of the plane. So you're working on things like navigation, communication systems, radar and weather avoidance systems, flight controls, and even the automated piloting systems. And then you have your maintenance technicians. And they inspect, repair, and maintain every aspect of the aircraft. So this requires that you learn the airframe, which is your sheet metal and welding, your composite materials, your hydraulics and pneumatics, and then your power plant, which is quite simply the aircraft's engines. So at the Myrtle Beach campus, we offer the aviation maintenance certification. And at the end of the 16-month program, only 16 months, you will have earned your FAA, Federal Aviation Association, A&P certification. That's what allows you to work on anything that flies. Our students, our graduates, they hold highly transferable skills that can be used in a broad range of industries. Within the aviation sector, they can work airlines, manufacturing, repair stations, business or general aviation, and then specialty fields that include things like avionics, balloons, airships, rotorcraft, and unmanned aircraft systems. So if you want more information about working as an aircraft maintenance technician, you can scan this in through your phone, just take a picture of it, or you can go to pia.edu/learn more, and we will get you some more information. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sally, very much to you and Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics. Next up, I have the pleasure to introduce to you Miami University. Take it away, Hannah, whenever you're ready.
All righty, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Hannah Stone. I am the Assistant Director of Southeast Regional Enrollment for Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. My screen went, there we go. So a little bit about Miami. We are a mid-sized institution located in the town of Oxford, Ohio, about an hour southeast of the city of Cincinnati. So if you are looking for kind of a mid-sized school with a quintessential college town experience, then look no further. Miami as well as Oxford can definitely check a lot of those boxes. We have over 120 different majors across 5 different colleges at Miami. We are known for being kind of a large university feel with the heart of a small school. So really offering a lot for our students. Average class size across all of our majors is 30 students, and all of our classes are taught by professors. So again, really allowing our students to kind of explore and hone in on various areas of academic interest. We are known for being an institution dedicated to undergraduate teaching. So like I mentioned previously, we do have professors and not teachers' assistants teaching all of your classes at Miami. With us, again, that allows you to really get to know who your professors are, and in turn, your professors really get to know you. So if there's an internship or a research opportunity, then our professors really can make those personal recommendations. A little bit about our accepted student profile. New this year, and actually just announced this week, we will be test optional again for our classes, or for our students applying for admission for fall of 2022. So just be prepared. If it will be completely up to you if you would like to submit grade or test scores rather for this upcoming application cycle. Generally, just an idea of where you would like to be in terms of our middle 50% GPA for students who are typically considered competitive for admission. Also interesting to note, a majority of our student population is coming from outside the state of Ohio. So that really does contribute to our campus community at Miami. Our students are really sticking around Oxford on weekends. They're not going home. So that really allows our students to really create a very unique college experience. We do consider all of our applicants for merit-based scholarships with your application to Miami. I will mention our priority deadline to be considered for merit scholarship funding is December 1st. So definitely make note of that date. Generally, given these GPA ranges, this is more or less the amount of scholarship funding that you can expect should your GPA fall within or above any of these ranges. Our scholarships feed into something called our 4-year tuition promise guarantee, which basically fixes the cost of tuition for all 4 years of your Miami experience. So really allows you to focus on your academics and your involvement and really budget for all 4 years of that college experience. And we are preparing you to be a leader in an increasingly globally diverse world. So just some quick statistics about what our graduates are doing once they leave campus. So we do have a very competitive program. So if your kind of postgraduate plans are taking you on into continuing your education, we do have some very competitive acceptance rates to law and medical school, as well as very competitive acceptance rates to other graduate programs across the country. Additionally, we have a really amazing career and internship resource center that will work with you not only to find an internship during your time at Miami, but we will also work with you on getting matched into a career in an area that you are interested in by the time you are ready to graduate. And this is my contact information. So if you do have any further, more detailed questions, I am more than happy to connect with you. So please make sure you get my email as well as my phone number. But thank you for joining us tonight.
Anna, thanks so much to you and Miami University. Our final presentation tonight will be from the University of Arizona. Take it away whenever you're ready, Chloe.
Thank you so much. Welcome everybody, and thank you again for coming to learn about all of our different universities today. My name is Chloe Davis. I'm an admissions recruiter with the University of Arizona, and hopefully give you a very broad overview of all things U of A. We were founded back in 1885 before Arizona was even a state. So if I were to really distill the University of Arizona, we are a school with a lot of really rich tradition, a lot of school spirit, and a ton of variety. Personally, that is one of my favorite things about the U of A. We have lots of different majors, clubs and student organizations, research. So you as a student really get to kind of carve your own path through the university and make your 4 years in college look however you'd like it to. We definitely are a big campus. We have about 35,000 undergraduates and 46,000 total students. We represent students from all 50 states, over 120 different countries, and we are really proud of the diversity on our campus. But even on a campus of our size, we do still want to make sure that you're getting the individual attention that you are looking for as a student. Our average class size is just about 25 students, so not too much larger than the average high school class, and our student to faculty ratio is 15:1, meaning our professors are really accessible when it comes to sending them an email or setting up an appointment to get your questions answered. In everything that we do, the student experience is our #1 focus. So we want to make sure you're getting all of the support you need throughout your time as a student. As I mentioned, we have a huge amount and variety of degree programs, nearly 250 of them, and they're broken out into about 20 different academic colleges. If I were to list our most popular majors, I would say engineering, business, nursing, architecture, and the College of Fine Arts. But we also have one of the largest photography archives in the country. And we have a law school, a medical school, and a veterinary school on campus. So we see a lot of students interested in pre-health majors and things of that variety. Also, if you get to your senior year and you have 2 or 20 different majors that you're still trying to decide between, you can come in undecided and really take your time to find your best fit at the University of Arizona. We also have a number of student services you could take advantage of. College is a huge stepping stone, so we also have our Career Development Center to help you review your resume, help build your LinkedIn, conduct mock interviews, and bring companies to campus to help you interview for internships and jobs. We also have a Student Health Center, lots of free tutoring, and so much else that you could take advantage of, again, to really make sure that we have your support in every day that you're with us. And as far as the fun stuff, we have study abroad programs in over 70 different countries. We have Division I athletics, 40 different club and intramural sports, Greek life, and over 600 other clubs and student organizations. Especially on a campus as large as ours, I always encourage students to get involved, as it does really help with that community feel and help campus feel a little bit smaller. Now, speaking of making Tucson feel like your home away from home, I have to talk about your literal home away from home, our dorms. Freshmen are never required to live on campus, although I always encourage it. Students who live on campus, even for just 1 year, had an average higher 4-year graduation rate and an average higher GPA. We have 23 dorms to choose from, so our housing website is just housing.arizona.edu. I would highly encourage you to check that out. We have pictures and video tours of every single one of our dorms, so you can start to picture which Arizona home is going to be the best for you. As far as our application goes, we are available on the Common App, the Coalition application, and we have our own application on our website. We are still open for the fall of 2021, and our application will open August 1st every year for students who are juniors or a little bit younger and just starting the college process. Our application is one of the most straightforward out there. I think it takes a half an hour, maybe less. We have always been test optional for admission. We do not require an essay, and we do not require letters of recommendation. We are also a rolling admission school, so our aim is to get you a decision in 2 to 4 weeks. So the earlier you apply, the earlier you'll know, and you have time to take a tour, email your recruiter with any of your questions, and really figure out if we are where you want to spend the next 4 years. 90% of our students receive some sort of scholarship, and a lot of that comes from our merit-based aid. Our scholarships are totally automatic. All you need to do is apply, and we use your unweighted core GPA for your first 3 years of high school, so freshman through junior year. You can see coming in with that 4.0, you'll receive a nearly full tuition scholarship, but we also have other ways to hopefully bring down the cost of tuition so we can be as good of a financial fit for you as possible. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about us, we do have a virtual tour. Campus is also open, but if you aren't trying to get to Tucson just yet, this virtual tour is a great way to learn more about us. Also, if you follow us on Instagram at UAZ Admissions, we have a current student taking over our Instagram story every Tuesday and Thursday, so you can see what a day in the life is like for a Wildcat, and they also host a Q&A, so you can ask them any questions that you're interested in. Also on our website, we're doing information sessions with all of our academic colleges, our financial aid office, information sessions with an admissions recruiter. We want to be able to give you as much information about us as possible. And lastly, here is our contact information. So feel free to email, text, call, whatever we can do to provide you with some information. We would love to have you as a Wildcat. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Chloe, to you and the University of Arizona. I am now going to invite all of our panelists to turn back on their cameras, and I am going to ask you to either answer what is your favorite event or tradition on campus, or give an interesting or fun fact about your school. We'll go in the same order that we presented in, so Florida Southern is up first.
Sure. I'll probably go with kind of an interesting fact. I kind of briefly mentioned it in my PowerPoint, but we are consistently ranked among the most beautiful campuses in the country. Our campus is a little over 100 acres. We're right on this beautiful lake in Lakeland. And we are also a very architecturally significant campus. If anyone is familiar with the architect Frank Lloyd Wright, he's one of the greatest American architects. He designed the Guggenheim Museum in New York City, among many other things. But he designed our campus back in the 30s and 40s for the most part, a little bit in the 50s, I think, as well. So we're the largest collection of his architecture in one location anywhere in the world. So very unique, very interesting, quite literally one of a kind college campus.
Brian, I live a block from Frank Lloyd Wright's home and studio in Oak Park, Illinois. So small world.
No way.
Next up, Bridgewater College.
Crazy, that's a hard one to follow up with that. Yeah, that's, I'll say as far as tradition-wise, something I definitely enjoyed while I was a student. Then also sort of afterwards, after I graduated, homecoming has always been like a really nice opportunity to sort of see the entire community kind of come together. We're a slightly smaller school, like I mentioned, about 1,600 kids. So it's kind of cool to see sort of current students, past students, alumni, and it's just always a really fun time. Yeah.
Sally, I think you're up next.
Okay, so we have an event every year that's really exciting. We put together a team and we go to the aerospace maintenance competition. This is a national competition where teams go not just from other schools, but they're from airlines, from companies, and they all compete against each other to be the best that they can be. And I have to say, PIA, even being a 16-month program, our team always places. But even beyond that, it's just such a great fun experience. The students love to go, we love to go, and then we get to show off a little bit too.
Okay, so for Miami University, we have a number of really cool traditions, but one of my personal favorites, it usually takes place right at the beginning of every year, called MegaFest. And it is held in our main campus quad. And it's a really great way for all of our students, both returning and new students, to see all of the amazing opportunities that Miami has to offer. So we have over 600 different clubs and organizations. So this is basically a giant fair for all of those 600 clubs and organizations. So you can go, you can get free food. We have a lot of local businesses, as well as the town of Oxford that turns out to support the event. And you can also go and get free Miami stuff, win prizes. And it's a really great way to kind of kick off the school year.
And for the University of Arizona, kind of similar, we actually host the nation's largest student-run carnival every year called Spring Fling. Obviously, this year those plans are on hold, but we're hoping to have that up and running really soon. Lots of free food, rides, musical performances, and it's cool as a student because you could be involved in planning it. I think it'd be an awesome thing to put on your resume, but it's just a super fun celebration of all things Arizona Wildcat.
So now, because I have you experts up, I'm going to ask you to give our audience some advice. What advice would you give someone going through the college search process right now? Most of the students listening are probably going to be juniors or a little bit younger. So we'll start again with Florida Southern.
Yeah, I think my initial or kind of main recommendation at this point, certainly for juniors, would be to try to visit colleges. Obviously, it's a little different nowadays with COVID, but I think if you are able to visit any colleges, I think that's really important. Ideally, I think it's good for students to visit once as juniors, maybe even as like sophomores, and then once again after you've been accepted. Again, I know that'd be a lot of visiting, a lot of travel and whatnot, but I do think visiting at least before you even start applying will start giving you some just kind of initial looks at like, okay, I know that this school I visited, I liked it, I want to apply. I didn't like this one. I'm not going to worry about applying. I like more urban, campuses versus more rural campuses, large, small, just kind of those kind of basic things. I think gives you a general idea, so you can kind of at least focus your search a little bit.
So Brian, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. You mentioned this, that like because of COVID, either students either can't visit or they maybe don't feel comfortable to visit, or it's just a different experience. So what can you do as a student if you're maybe looking at a school that's out of state, but you really want to get a feel for the community, a feel for the personality of the school? What would you recommend?
Oh, I know a lot of colleges, I'm certainly would more so speak for Florida Southern since that's where I work, but I would assume a lot of their colleges have really expanded their virtual offerings, probably because of COVID. I think a lot of colleges already had, but I think it's really expanded even more because during 2020, when there was virtually no travel, colleges really felt like, hey, we need to still make sure students can experience us and get some time looking at the school. So I think a lot of colleges have really expanded their virtual stuff. Residence hall, videos showing students around rooms and the halls, general campus recorded tours, informational sessions, opportunities to communicate with admissions staff, with faculty. So I think, yeah, as much as you can kind of engage with colleges, on their websites and virtually and calling the admissions office or things like that, I think just engaging as much as possible in different ways, even if you're not able to visit, that'll still at least probably give you some type of sense of if it might be a good fit for you.
Darren, you're up next.
Yeah, gotcha. So, sort of bouncing off what he was just mentioning a little bit, it's really a good idea, especially when you're a little bit younger, kind of that sophomore, junior age range, to just kind of figure out what some of those really general things that you want about a school. Like, there's so many different schools out there. Thankfully, throughout this, sort of panel and presentation style, we had a lot of different diversity in the types of schools. But really figuring out some of those things, like you was mentioning, you want to go to a really big school? Do you want to go to a really small school, medium-sized school? Do you want a city area, a rural area? And once you start sort of blocking off those little subdivisions, makes it a little bit easier to kind of make some of those decisions, especially if you live in a very sort of dense academic area where there's a lot of colleges. So yeah, it's a really good opportunity just to sort of figure out yourself a little bit, sort of envision down the road, kind of 4 years from now, is this a place I can sort of see myself being? It seems kind of Disney-esque in a sense, but definitely, same like he was mentioning, go visit campuses. You get somewhere and you really kind of get that feeling of like, okay, like, yeah, this is the right place for me. Or maybe this isn't, and that's completely all right.
So Darren, what happens if you start to like a school that maybe you've never heard of before? Like, it's okay, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. So I'll say, I tell people all the time, like, I literally had no idea what Bridgewater was until like right before I visited. Like, I was going through, I applied at a bunch of different places, and my coach ended up telling me about the school. And my mom was like, yeah, sure, I'll go for a visit. So I ended up on campus, and I was like, oh wow, like I actually really like this place. Like, so yeah, if you like somewhere a little bit sort of out of reach, just see what options they have. Whether it be virtual, if you like it enough in person. If anything, that's kind of one benefit of COVID. Just about everybody has a virtual option for you guys to be able to get information and check things out. So without having to make that full commitment of visiting somewhere maybe 4 or 5 hours away, you can at least see what they're about on the digital side of things.
Thank you, Sally.
So I'm going to be a little boring, and I'm going to go too with what other people have said, because it really is true. But take that time to, go to those four-year schools, but also take the time to go to all the schools. Check out, what does a trade school look like and feel like? What does a community school feel like? What does a four-year school look like? Because once you get there, you're going to get a better idea. It's really hard otherwise to know. The other piece, because I'm going to kind of give you two answers that I'm going to add on to that as well. Never let tuition of any school put you off, because sometimes you look at the tuition of any school, and I'm not just talking PIA, and you're like, oh, I can't afford that school. Don't do it. Go and talk to financial aid departments. There are so many ways, and you can see everybody nodding because there are so many ways to pay for school. So talk to the experts and figure out what they are. So that's it. That's the two I have.
Great advice. Hannah?
Okay, so switching gears a little bit, students, this is very much your process, kind of looking ahead to college. Parents, you are a great support system, but at the end of the day, definitely this is your students' process. And I think there are definitely conversations. Financial aid is one of them that I would say that is for sure a parent involved process that I would recommend. Parents stepping up and offering support. But when it comes to really honing in on your areas of interest in what you want to major in, what you're looking for in a school, students, this is very much about you and what you alone want. So parents, I know it's hard sometimes, but definitely let your students own this process a little bit. It's a great way to get some self-advocacy skills in there, because that comes up all the time in college. If there's a class or something that's not working, you have to go in and talk to a professor. It's on you to do it. So the college search process is a really great opportunity to kind of start that transition a little bit.
And I hope you guys realize by now that these people on the screen are awesome and they are here to help you. And so, as Hannah mentioned, ask those questions. Like, they're not going to bite your head off. They're not going to say that your question is silly. Their job is to help. So Chloe, you're up next.
That's actually my piece of advice. Totally fine. It is literally our job to get you the information that you need. So my biggest piece of advice as you go through the college search is use the resources that are available to you. You can have any of our contact information. There are virtual tours, information sessions, one-on-one meetings. There are so many resources available to you to help answer your questions and figure out if our universities are going to be a good fit for you. So just make sure to utilize those, because we are all here to help.
And I would say have some fun. This process is really an exciting time in your life and enjoy it. You get to pick a home for your next 2 years, 4 years, whatever, and it's all about you. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. There'll be a quick 4-question survey when you close out. So please provide us with some feedback. And this recording will be available at strivescan.com/Carolinas, along with all of the other recordings from this evening. With that, I'd like to say, have a good time through this process. Good luck with your college search, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.